I have to go back a little bit in the Gemara. I didn't teach it correctly. We'll go back like a few lines. We were holding in Chaf Gimel Amud Beis. I want to go back to Gimel Amud Aleph, the Gemara. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right after the Mishnah. Before the wide lines. It says Gemara, right? Okay, we thank Hashem that you're able to learn Torah every day. And then it's supposed to be learning, we should have the Beis Hamikdash immediately. The Gemara says like this. I missed an important point when I was learning this yesterday, so I want to go back. Amar Rav Chisda. Chisda says, Nevela b'teila b'shkuta. Yesterday I was learning about kosher meat, non-kosher meat. It's different. Here we're talking about meat that's nevela. Nevela gives off an impurity. If someone touches a nevela, it gives off an impurity. And nevela is batal b'shchuta. Now, what would that mean? I have two pieces of shchuta meat, of kosher meat, slaughtered meat, and I have one piece of nevela. And if the nevela is batal in the shchuta, that would mean that if someone touches any one of these three pieces of meat, it's not going to become tamei, because the nevela became batal. Something became batal. There's no nevela here. She'ef shel shchuta shetas nevela. He explains that since it's min b'she'ena minai, and we're holding that min b'she'ena minai is batal. This min b'she'ena minai is batal. So, since the shchuta, which is we'll talk about this as how do you pronounce solute and solvent? Which one is you have salt and water? Which one is the solute?
The solvent is that which is dissolving.
The other. So the water would be the solvent. So let's get our terms right. So let's say you have salt and water. The water is the solvent, and the solute is the salt. So let's see over here. We have the majority here is the solvent, right? That's what we're assuming. So the shchuta is the solvent. So the shchuta can never become the solvent. Can never become the solute. The shchuta can never become nevela. Why? Why can't it become nevela? Because it's already slaughtered. It can't become nevela.
I don't think that's a good analogy, because there the solvent and the solute end up making a solution. And you don't have a solution, you have distinct pieces.
No, so give me a better mevatel and the nisbatel.
Okay.
Yeah, is that better? Really? Okay, so shchuta eina b'teila nevela the shchuta shetas nevela. She'ef shel shchuta shetas nevela. However, okay, that's one way. That's if someone touches the it's not complex. I'm making it complex. It's not complex. If someone touches one of these three pieces, he's not tummy, because the one that was tummy is batal. Shchuta eina b'teila nevela. However, the opposite, that if you have two pieces of nevela and you have one piece of shchuta, and then you touch one of these pieces of meat. So let's say what touched it was truma. Truma, when it becomes tamei, it gets burnt. When truma is a suffix tamei, it doesn't get burnt. It's only toilen. You can't burn it. You have to let it sit and rot. So what we're saying now is that since the shchuta is not betela and the nevela, the shchuta doesn't become batal, right? So therefore, what the piece that you touched may be the piece of the nevela, may not be the piece. If you can't burn the truma, it's called toilen. let it hang. It's in limbo.
That's Torah, Eretz, I believe.
Yeah, you let it hang. It's in limbo. Why? And the reason for this is because the shchuta can't be batal. She'efshel in nevela shetasa shchuta, because the nevela, which is the solvent here, can never become can never be because because the solvent can, yes, become the shchuta. How does that happen? That happens when the l'chimisracha parcha tamasa, because when it becomes rotten, the prohibition of the, not the prohibition, so that's what I learned wrong yesterday. The tuma goes away when it becomes rotten. It becomes not nevela anymore. Right? That's the opinion.
So on the Vela that just rots out there, and then you come across it.
Right. It's not tummy anymore. And the main point of it here is that according to Rav Chisda, the what we look at is it min b'minai? The way we're looking at min b'minai, and it will never be batal if it's the same type, it can't be batal. The way we view that is that if the larger amount, the mevatel, the solvent, cannot become the smaller amount, then we say that they're different. So in our case, when we had nevela in the shchuta, we said the shchuta can never become nevela, so they're different. Therefore, nevela is batal. When we have shchuta that's in nevela, and nevela is the majority, we said, well, nevela could become like shchuta because when it rots, the tumah goes off. So then it's really min b'minai, and then we'll say that it's not batal. No, we're not following the majority. If there's two kosher, then we follow the majority and we say that the other one is the impure one becomes nullified. The reason for that is because they're so distinct that they can never be considered min b'minai, the same type. And min b'minai is not batal, but here this is min b'she'ena minai. It's in a different type. So therefore it will be batal. Min b'she'ena minai is yes batal. Min b'minai is not batal. That's how we're following here. If you do it the other way, if you do one kosher meat in two pieces of tamei meat, of nevela, we say that the kosher meat is not batal, because the nevela could become kosher. How? When it rots, the tumah goes off. Therefore, it's min b'minai. Min b'minai, then it's not batal. What's the difference? The difference is if truma touches it, so then we don't say that it for sure touched tamei because two of the pieces were tamei and the other one becomes batal to the tamei. We don't say that. We say that the truma touched it. We don't know which one it touched. Maybe it's tamei, maybe it's not. It's still a doubt. And if you have to leave it, you can't burn it. All right? That's the opinion of Rav Chisda.
Well, this would be a very big loophole, wouldn't it? Because with few exceptions. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he's asking what happens if you don't burn it. What do you do? He's just say you wait till it rots. Yeah, the truma. You wait till it's rotten, and then it's spoiled. You can't burn it. You can't destroy something that's holy, unless it's tamei. But here you don't know if it's tamei, so you just have to leave it.
But with very few exceptions, all food rots
Right.
eventually. So this is almost saying like it's a darvish yesh material.
Yeah, it's the same logic as a davar sheish l'matir. Just like a davar sheish l'matir, and according to that Ran, made it into min b'minai. This is the same logic. Yeah. This makes the Ran much less of a chiddush. You think like the Ran was, wow, what a, like, it's really a Gemara,
I didn't do that 5K run, so could you tell us what you're talking about?
Davar Matirin, you know what that is? Where
Yeah,
like an egg that's on Yom Tov, we
Right.
said that it becomes nullified. It won't become nullified even in 1,000. Rashi explains, it won't become nullified because why should you use the laws of bittul? Just eat it tonight after the Yom Tov. You don't need to come on to all of that. Just eat it later. Eat it tonight. And the Ran says that's not the pshat in Davar Sheish Matirin. Pshat is that really min b'mina is not batal. The only thing is we have Machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim. What's considered min b'minei? Rabbi Yehuda looks at the external, the physical part, and the blood. Well, two bloods aren't bad. The Chachamim look at the spiritual part. Two korbanos aren't bad. So over here, where you have the same type, one egg and many eggs, same type, plus it's the same spiritual because both of them are heter. Now one of them is not heter right now. One of them is only heter tomorrow, but they're still considered both heter. Because it's going to be. So they considered it the same type, so you say it's not batal. Even according to the Chachamim, that doesn't look at the outside, they look at the spiritual part, but the spiritual part is also very similar.
so that's also similar to the guy who marries the wife. But he's not a tzaddik now. That case was.
That was just saying because it could actually happen. It actually happened now. That's not because in the future he may be. That's because right now when he's saying it, he thoughts of tshuva. That's because of now. This is like a potential. This is a potential. We're looking at a potential. Okay, that was Rav Chisda. I'm sorry.
If you don't know for the part is Tame, part is not Tame, and it's not Batal, and you don't know which part it touched, right? So that's why it's not Kamina. How can something really be a mixture? Like if part of it is on one side, part of it is on the other side, and you don't know which part. Isn't the idea of the mixture is that everything is together, that whatever you touch is going to be both?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the din of that's the din of leibatal, is where even when you have a mixture, everything stays distinct.
Mm-hmm.
Usually in a mixture, we say that that it's all batal, it all becomes one thing. We're gonna have later in the Gemara this topic again, but here we're saying when it's not batal, we say that everything stays distinct, and you don't know which part you touched. It's like it doesn't become a real mixture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This reminds me, Katie was sometime will make pea and carrot soup and they pour them both at the same time in the bowl and it looks almost like a yin yang kind of thing. So they're two distinct soups. But
very, very good example. Very nice. Very nice. Okay.
Also tastes.
Dr. Stein is telling us about a pea and carrot soup on a cold morning. He's telling us about how they pour it at the same time, so it looks like a yin yang. This is okay. People are going to listen. I can know what type of share this is. Okay. Reb Chanina Amar. Reb Chanina says it's almost the same as Rav Chisda, Rav Chanina's opinion, except it's exactly the opposite. But the logic is all the same. Kol she'efshar liyas kamaya ein a batal. Kol she'efshar liyas kamaya batal. What Rav Chanina's opinion is that you, instead of looking at the solvent, the larger one, and we're saying, can the solvent become like the solute, and the larger one become like the smaller one? Can the nevela become like the shchuta, right? And we said yes. We're actually looking at the other way. Can the one that's being batal become like the one that's mevatal it? Can the nisbatal become like? You look at the solute and you see at the smaller one. You say, can it become like the larger one? That's what Rav Chanina is saying. So it's the logic is the same. It's just which one are we focusing on? Is a machlekes Rav Chisda versus Rav Chanina. Now the Gemara asks, Ali b'daman, you have a machlekes between Rav Chisda and Rav Chanina. Which of the major Tanoim is it following? It goes like this. Are we following the Rabbanan? Now remember we had a machlekes the Rabbanan and Rabbi Yehuda if min b'mina is batal. Now, the truth is that everyone holds min b'mina is not batal. Only thing is, what did we consider min b'mina? What were we looking at? Which glasses did we have on when we were looking for min b'mina? According to the Rabbanan, we were looking through kachim glasses. How holy is this? Are they both sacrifices that are being offered up to Hashem? So if it's according to the Rabbanan, Amri Oilen hu delay mevatle adati. The Rabbanan said that it's only oilen, it's only the blood of the sacrifices, that will not become nullified one another, because they look at the spiritual glasses. Aval min b'minai batal. But if two things just are the same type, they hold that it is batal. Their min b'minai that's not batal is the spiritual min b'minai. If the two sacrifices, the blood of this sacrifice, the blood of the bull, the blood of the goat, those are two sacrifices. Those are not batal. But blood with blood is batal. You have to look at the sacrifice part that makes it not batal. So over here, nevela with shchuta, I know it's min b'minai, I know it's the same type externally, but that's batal according to the Rabbanan. So why would we have this machlekes? It's batal automatically. Aliba de Rabbi Yehuda. Are they arguing in the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Yehuda basach hazusa also. Rabbi Yehuda says that it's never going to be batal, no matter what's going to happen to it. Can it turn into this? Can it turn into that? Can it rot and turn into shchuta? He says he looks at this, the chazusa. Now chazusa literally means the color, the appearance of it. But what the Gemara means is that he looks at the actual type, the gashmias, the physical part. Is it both meat? Both meat means that it's min b'minai and it's not batal. According to him, v'idi min b'minayo. Both of these are whether it's nevela meat or shchuta meat, both of them are meat, and therefore it's not going to be batal. Therefore, if you're going to touch it, so there's always going to be a suffix if it's tamei or it's not tamei. I'm going to say that it's definitely not tamei or it definitely is tamei. There's no definite here. It's all a doubt. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Ella, the Gemara explains that their machlekes Rav Chisda and Rav Chanina is a liba de Rav Chia. Follows Rav Chia. The Tani Rav Chia, because Rav Chia taught nevela shchuta b'teilus ubezu. That nevela and shchuta are yes batal. One could be batal in the other one. Now, the question is, machlekes Rav Chisda and Rav Chanina, when it says one is batal in the other one, which one is batal in which? Is the nevela batal in the shchuta? Or the shchuta is batal in the nevela? It depends on if we look at the solvent or the salyut. Which one are we looking at? The larger one or the... Okay, because the nevela could yes turn into shchuta, which would make it min b'minai. That would be problematic, make it not batal. Gemara now asks, Rab Chia liba deman. Who does Rab Chia follow? This is like that joke in Ireland. They asked, this Jewish guy was there. They asked him, are you Protestant, Catholic, or Protestant? He says, I'm Jewish. They said, they didn't know what he's talking about. They said, are you Jewish Catholic or Jewish Protestant? Lahavdil. So, anyway, we have machlekes here. We have machlekes, lahavdil. We have machlekes, Rabbi Yehuda and the Rabbanan. So we said, oh, it's going to follow Rab Chia. It's not going to go according to you. It's going to follow Rab Chia. Now the Gemara says, okay, now who does Rab Chia follow? Rabbi Yehuda or Rabbanan? Rab Chia liba deman. Ia liba de Rabbanan. Amri Eilen Hudlay Mevatli. It says Adadi. He says that the sacrifices aren't batal. Min b'minai batal, but min b'minai Rab Chia is not helping us if he's following the Rabbanan. Aliba de Rabbi Yehuda, and if it's a following Rabbi Yehuda, call min b'minai the Rabbi Yehuda lay batal. Min b'minai, you look at the external one and it's not batal. Where it says la'ilam aliba de Rabbi Yehuda, you're right. Really, Rabbi Chia is following Rabbi Yehuda that min b'minai is not batal. However, you have to understand the way Rabbi Chia is understanding Rabbi Yehuda. V'chi kama Rabbi Yehuda min b'minai lay batal. When does Rabbi Yehuda say that two things are not batal one another if they're the same type? Two pieces of meat are not batal one another. Two bloods are not batal one and the other. When does he say that? Hani mili hechad de efshaleilam hevikavasei. Rabbi Yehuda is not only looking with gashmias glasses; he's also looking with ruchnias glasses. It needs to have potential to become like it. As he looks at, I know the main thing is it the same type? According to the Rabbanan, it didn't even need to be the same type. Just if it's both ruchnias, if it's both oilen, it's not batal. Even if it's not both blood, even whatever it is. But here, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it needs to be the same type. Together with the same type, it also needs to be it needs to be possible that it could become one like the other spiritually. Hani mili, when does Rabbi Yehuda say that min b'minei is leibatel heichad le'efshel le'lamei v'kavasei? When the halachas of one could be like the other. Aval heichad le'efshel le'lamei v'kavasei batel. Okay, but if it can't be, if they're very so dissimilar, then Rabbi Yehuda would say that it's batel, even though they're actually the same type. And Rabbi Yehuda would say, Rabbi Yehuda that says the same type is not batel, would say that it is batel if they're dissimilar spiritually. So dissimilar spiritually. So now we have the machlekes Rav Chisda and Rav Chanina. Rav Chisda savar batel mevatel aslin, and he says that you look at the solvent and at the larger one. You say, can the larger one, can the mevatel become like the misbatel? If it can't be, and they're so dissimilar, then we'll say that it's batel. And Rav Chisda, Rav Chanina savar, Rav Chanina says basa batel aslinan. We look at the salyut, and which is the smaller one. We say that the smaller one, if that cannot be similar to the larger one, like for example, shchuta cannot be like nevela, so therefore we would say that it's min b'shein mina, and it would be batel.
Can you make an analogy to like salt solution as opposed to a sugar solution? There's no, the sugar solution is always just sugar and water. It can never really bind and be the same, where salt and water is ionic. I mean, one is a real solution and the other is just
I think they told us one that's a chemical change and one is just some other change. That's what they told us in school.
No. One, in a salt solution, you're dealing with H2O, which is ionic bonds, and salt with NaCl, which is ionic bonds. So that means sugamino. But with sugar, the sugar is carbon, is organic bonds as opposed to ionic. They could float in it. That's why it keeps on going to the bottom. Would that be a little analogous here, or not really? Just confusing.
You'd have to get really deep into this.
Okay, forget about it. Forget about it.
Above our
Forget about
it. Tanan.
Great.
Above our pay grade. Tanan. This came up because in the Mishnah we had menachos, that two menachos that got mixed together. One case was if two menachos that the kmitza wasn't performed on them and they got mixed together. If you could do kmitza on one without the other, and you can get a full kmitza in, or with just exclusive from one of the menachos. So then it would be kosher. But if not, then it would be possible. That's our first case. So Tanan, shtei menachos le'nichbutzu. The kmitza wasn't performed. And they got mixed in. If you can do the kmitza independently, one from the other, then they would be kosher. And if not, psulas. The problem is, at the moment that you do the kmitza from one of them, idach havale shirayim. The idach usually means the other, but here it doesn't mean the other mincha. But here it means the rest of it. The rest of it becomes shirayim, becomes the remnant of the mincha. The remnant of the mincha has its own halachas. It gets eaten, it's not allowed to be burnt, it becomes the remnant. Now, we said that you can go ahead and you could do kmitza on the other one now. That was our idea. If you can do kmitza on one, then you can do kmitza on the other, then they'll both be kosher. Problem is that when you did kmitza on the first one, the other one is shirayim. Like a mevatli shirayim lativla, we're seeing that the shirayim was not mevatel the other mincha, or even part of the other mincha. Because if it would be mevatel it, then we would view the other mincha as a mincha shechasra, that's lacking. It's not a full mincha, because part of it got absorbed into the mincha that the kaimet was just taken from, into the shirayim. Part of it got absorbed into the shirayim. And then the new mincha, which you're about to do the kmitza on, is already lacking. It's missing. And the kmitza won't help. So what we're seeing now is that shirayim to tivla, we're going to call it tivla. Tivla means grain that hasn't been fixed. That's how we're going to, the term that we're going to use for the mincha that the kaimetz hasn't been removed from. So we're going to say that the shirayim is not mevatel the tivla. Mani, who would this follow? Irabanan. If it follows the Rabbanan, can't be the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan say that why would a tevel not be batal? Only if it would be considered a sacrifice. What would a sacrifice be? Like the blood that goes on the altar. But over here, it doesn't go on the altar. The shirayim doesn't go on the altar, and the other mincha doesn't go on the altar. Besides for one little kaimetz part of it. It's only those things. Hamin b'mina is batal, but just the fact that they're both flour and oil, that would still be batal according to the Rabban. According to Rabban, you can't do kmitza on the second one. Ela pshita, Rabbi Yehuda, it must be that the reason why the second mincha isn't batal in the first one is because looking just at the external part of it, which is flour and oil, and flour and oil is not batal. Min b'mina, it's not batal. Not batal means that both of them are intact. If you look at the one that the salute, we look at the smaller one. Can the smaller one over here? We're looking at a piece of the mincha where the kaimetz wasn't taken. Look at pieces of it, right? Do we look at the one that's becoming batal, which is the new mincha? Do we look at that and we say that can that become like this? Batal as linan, then we say batal havikim mevatal. It will become like this. Why? So it's very good. The second mincha could be exactly like this mincha. Both of them are going to turn into shirayim once you take the kmitza. Oh, so that's min b'minai. So it's not batal. Everything works perfectly. But according to the opinion that say you don't look at what's becoming batal. You look at the one that's being mevatal, the perpetrator, the one that's causing the other one to become batal, right? The solvent. So shirayim mikahavi tivla. Can the shirayim, the remnant of one mincha, become back into a mincha that the kaimetz wasn't taken from? Become tivla? Can't happen. So therefore, it's min b'sheina minai. Min b'sheina minai should be batal, and therefore this can't do kmitza on the second mincha. Kosher. That's what we're saying. If kosher meat can't become nevela, so then we say that one is batal in the other, right? And then we say that it is batal. If it's batal, then in our case, batal means that you've just messed up the mincha because you don't have a full mincha because part of it became batal, became absorbed in another one. It disappeared. Batal is like it disappeared from the mincha. So lema the lake Rab Chia. This opinion was the opinion of Rav Chisda that says you look at the mevatel. According to this, it's not going to fit with this machlekes. Rav Chisda and Rab Chanina, according to Rab Chia, is not going to fit with our Mishnah. So let's say that this machlekes is the like Rab Chia, this Mishnah is not going to fit with Rab Chia. When it says Hassam, we could still explain it that it fits with Rab Chia, according to Rav Chisda, that has that opinion that you look at the mevatel, you look at the solvent, you see if it's similar to the misbatel, to the salyut. Hassam kid Rab Zeira. The reason why it's not batel is because of Rab Zeira. In other words, why is the second mincha still eligible for kmitza? Because we're following the opinion of Rab Zeira. Rab Zeira, nemra haktara b'kaimetz v'nemra haktara b'shirayim. It says the law of burning the kaimetz, and it says the law of not burning the shirayim. Both of them have a law of burning. One is yes burn, one is not burn, but they both have a law of burning. Ma haktara amura b'kaimetz, just like when it came to burning the kaimetz, just as we say that ein a kaimetz mevatlas chavei, we say that one can't nullify the other one. One kaimetz can't nullify another kaimetz because both of them are oilin, both of them are going on, right? We're talking about the Rabbanan, we're talking about Rabbi Yehuda. Whatever the case is, even in Rabbi Yehuda, dam is not batal in dam if it's both, right? So just like by the kaimetz, we say that one is not mevatel the other one. Also, there's haktara that says by shirayim, and we're going to learn from that the shirayim is not mevatel the kaimetz. Because we're going to say that it's min b'minay. Both of them have the law of burning in it.
But the one that did not have the komas taken from it, isn't that one bigger?
Yeah, so I'm imagining that we're not talking about the entire part of it. We're talking about parts of it.
Hmm.
And you need
Part that got
it
mixed.
perfectly intact in order to be able to do the kmitza.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that spelled out clearly, but that's what I'm imagining is the pshat. What note am I looking at? If the larger kaimitz of one mincha becomes mikvah, the smaller kaimitz, oh no, that's the next gemara. That's the next gemara. Okay. Okay, we're holding now Tashima. Tashima. Yeah. A kaimitz in the Arab minchas le nikmitza le yakter. What we learned in the Mishnah was that if the kaimetz falls in to the other mincha, so you can't offer it up. You can't offer it up because the other mincha doesn't belong on the altar. However, in Hikter, if you did offer it on, put it on the altar, so zusha nikmitza also by them. The mincha that had the kaimetz removed from it, which was now being put on the altar in this other mixture, is an eligible mincha. It's already accepted because it was put on the altar. Vizu, but the one shalei nikmitza loy also labailam, that doesn't satisfy the owner's obligation because the kmitza wasn't done. You just burnt the whole thing, which was not the way it's supposed to be done. So that's the owner's going to have to bring it again. Whatever the case is, one of the things we see from this is the kaimetz that got offered mixed in to the other mincha was not batal. Otherwise, we would say that it was never offered. It must be that's that. We consider that perfectly intact, independently intact. And so the question is, why do we say that it's not batal? If you follow the solvent could have become like the salyut, the mincha could have become like the kaimetz. Why? It says like this. One second, I jumped. Rabbanan, if we're following the Rabbanan, Mani, who is this opinion? Rabbanan Hamri, Oilin Hudlai Mavatli Adadi. That the Oila, two sacrifices are Mavatl one another. Hamin V'mine Batal. But over here, it's only the kaimetz that goes on the altar. Here it was other parts of it. It was the shirayim of it. It was the whole tivla. So that should be Mavatl the other one. This is, even though they're the same type, even though they're both flour and oil, but it should be mevatel because it's not like the blood that goes on the altar. Elapshita Rabbi Yehuda must be Rabbi Yehuda. Now Rabbi Yehuda holds that min b'min is lebatel, and that would explain why over here it's going to be the kaimetz is acceptable. If you follow the mevatel, which was the opinion of Rav Chisda, he said you look at the one that's the solvent. Can the solvent become like the salyut? Can the mincha that the kmitza wasn't taken, can that become like the kaimetz? You say yes. So mevatel havi kabatel. The mevatel, the large mincha over here that the kaimetz wasn't taken, could be like the kaimetz. Why? The kol porta chazal mixed, because every drop of this mincha could become a kaimetz. We don't know where you're going to take for the kaimetz from. So every drop of it could be the kaimetz. So that if that's the case, then each drop of this could be potentially could be a kaimetz. So therefore, it's considered min b'minai, and the rule is min b'minai is lebatal, and that's why the kaimetz that got offered was considered independently intact because it's not batal. Min b'minai lebatal. Elaman the amar basar batal as linan, but according to the opinion that says you follow the one that's being batal, the salute, the kaimetz. Kaimetz mika havi tivla. Can the kaimetz ever become tevel? And therefore, it's min b'sheina minai. Min b'sheina minai is batal. So therefore, why did we consider it that you offered it on the altar? You didn't offer it on the altar. You offered this other thing on the altar that had this absorbed in it, but it's totally nullified. Why was that eligible? Why was that acceptable? Lema, we're going to have to say the like Rab Chia that the Mishnah, according to Rabbi Chanina, that says that you follow the batal salute. What are we going to say? We're going to say that our Mishnah doesn't fit with the way they're explaining Reb Chia. So the Gemara says, "Hanami kid Reb Zera." No, you can explain this according to Reb Zera. That the Reb Zera says that just like the kaimetz and another kaimetz don't nullify one another, so to the shirayim and the kaimetz don't nullify one another. Okay, Tashema. We have another piece of our Mishnah. Nesarev kaimtza b'shirayim shel chaverta. Let's say this becomes more complex. Let's say the kaimetz of one mincha fell into the remnant of the other mincha. So now you're not allowed to offer up the remnant on the altar. So it says la yakter. You're not allowed to burn the remnant unless it's a kayan's mincha. Im hikter. Let's say you did burn it against the rules. So also labailim, it was the kaimetz that got burned together with the shirayim would satisfy the owner because the fact is it did get burned. Over here, you've now just avoided everything possible that you could resolve, because the kaimetz is not mixed in with the kaimetz. Shirayim is not mixed in with the shirayim. It's a kaimetz with the shirayim. There's no part of this shirayim that could ever be like the kaimetz, and there's no part of that shirayim that the kaimetz and the kaimetz can't be like the shirayim. So whichever way you look at it, but according to both, let's take a look. It says. The shirayim can't be the kaimetz, and the kaimetz can't become shirayim. And nevertheless, we say that it's not batal. We said that it was satisfactory. But if it's min b'sheina minai, then it should be batal. So why do we say that it's satisfactory? There's nothing in common between them, which means that it's min b'sheina minai. Min b'sheina minai means batal. Batal means that there's a problem. Mani. So which opinion would this follow? The Gemara doesn't have patience to spell out the whole thing. Just says etc. Then we went through over there. Then we would say it's the printer. It doesn't have patience to put all the fonts and thing. If it would be the Rabbanan, so then we said that it should be batal. Right? The Rabbanan say only oilus, and so it must be it's Rabbi Yehuda. If it's Rabbi Yehuda, then we would say that it should, according to Rabbi Yehuda, min b'minai, it should not be batal. So what's the machlokes here, Rab Chanina and Rav Chisda? Rabbi Yehuda holds min b'minai is loy batal. Oh, but this is considered min b'sheina minai because they're different types. Reb Zera comes along and answers this up. He says, "Nemar aktara b'kaimetz and nemar aktara b'shirayim." It says aktara by the kaimetz, and it says, "Do not burn the shirayim." It says aktara also by the shirayim. One is a do yes, and one is a do not. Just like when it came to the kaimetz, he said that one kaimetz can't nullify the other one. And the shirayim can't nullify the kaimetz. Okay, so Reb Zera comes in and saves the day. Tashma. What do you mean after the fact? Yeah, but after the fact, we said that it worked. The question is, why did it work? There was no kaimitz here. The kaimitz was nullified into the Shirayim. Why did it work? So we're explaining, according to Reb Zera, they're considered distinct. Yeah, that the kaimitz doesn't nullify the another kaimitz, and the Shirayim doesn't nullify the kaimitz either.
Find this very confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing.
You lost me a comment, Sal.
Get back on track.
Kaimitz.
Get back on track. Back on the wagon.
At the kaimitz aleph, you said, Okay, Tashma. Come and listen. We have a brisa that says, Tivla. Tivla over here means a matzah. Tivla beketzach. You spiced up a matzah dough with ketzach. Where do they translate ketzach? It's a type of herb. They just say ketzach, right? Fennel. Okay, great.
Put on the notes.
Or with sesame seeds. So fennel must mean fennel seeds. And shumshimin, and the sesame seeds.
The black cumin.
Oh, that's what they say?
Oh, they always have to do something different.
Or any type of spices. So we say kshera. You're yaitz of the matzah. Don't get any ideas from this. But it says that on the first night of Pesach, you ate the matzah. It has spices on it, but you ate the matzah. Why? Because matzah, elishen, we said kshera matzah, elishen nikras, matzah mitubelis. It's considered matzah that's spiced. Okay. As far as put spices on the matzah? No, I don't think so.
No.
This sounds like in everything challah on Shabbos. You know, the challah is sounds like in everything.
Yeah, the Sfardim say mezainas on matzah during the year. It's only Pesach they eat say amaitzi, but they can't spice up anything. If they spice up something, they're making mezainas on it. It's not. It won't be amaitzi. Right? They want just like water challah in Shabbos to make amaitzi. They have like even any other flavors in it. It's not. So we put things on it and whatever. So, we're thinking over here. I don't know why, but we're thinking that there's more spices than matzah. This is like the kids with ketchup. So that's what we're thinking. So Bishlam Elamandamar Basar Batlas Linan. This according to Reb Chanina that says that you look at the one that's being bottled, which over here would be batal avikim avatal dulchim afsha. Once the matzah spoils, and it's not matzah, havli katavlin, it would just be like the spice, which means you're not yaitza. So since the matzah could become spoiled, and it won't be yaitza, so it's similar to the tavlin, which means that the matzah and the tavlin are min b'minai. Min b'minai is leibatal, which means that explains why you're yaitza the matzah, because it was leibatal. But according to the opinion, it says basar mevatel is in that you look at the one that's nullifying tavlin mikavi matzah. Can the tavlin ever turn into matzah? It's never going to be flour and water. No, we're looking at exactly the opposite. We're looking at where the majority is the flour in the water, which was what we would have assumed, I think. And it's not going to be batal in the tavlin. That's easy. You have more. If you have more, no one says that having more of something should become nullified. It's always a smaller amount that's going to be nullified in the larger. Dekanami. It's also precise. It says the klani matzahi. If you look at the halacha, in that it says kshera matzahi elishenekra matzah mitavelis. It's elishenekra matzah mitavelis. Shema mina, we see that we're dealing with the larger amount was the flour and water. It's the smaller amount that was the.
It's a spicy matzah, not a matzah spice.
Okay. I have to leave this here.
Oh,
I have to run.
Mm.
We're up to Kitzalek. It's the last two lines of the. Yes.
Long as you're gonna be in.
I'll be away one day next week. Actually,
Really?
It's gonna be in Jerusalem next week.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I forget which day. If it's Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to be away.
Forward to getting that paragraph done.
What?
Have a good Shabbos, everyone.
Thank you, good Shabbos.